I will now call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Texas Southmost College District. Trustees present, Mr. J.J. De Leon, Ms. Alejandra Aldrete, Dr. Tony Zabaleta, Ms. Eva Alejandro, Mrs. Delia Saenz, myself, and our president, Dr. Jesus Roberto Rodriguez. Absent is Mr. Herrera, and I guess we all know where he is at, right? Traveling. Good for him. And now we'll call on Dr. Zabaleta for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
Thank you, Dr. Zabaleta. Public comments? None. President's report?
You want to do yours?
I'm going to do my report. You know, I don't usually do a chair's report, but I think it's a good idea. But this time, I'm going to do a chair's report because I've got reason to. I'm very, very, very proud of what we're doing. Dr. Rodriguez and I traveled on Tuesday to the Texas Association of Community College reception in recognition of the Texas Commission on Community Colleges Finance. The reception was to honor the invaluable time dedicated to transformative work of the committee of which of our state representatives Oscar Longoria serves. While at the reception, I was really blown away. Sad to say that my trustees didn't get to see that. We at Texas Southmost College are respected and admired. Woohoo! Mm-hmm. Getting from the tax director of institutional strategy, Dr. Christine Bailey. Dr. Bailey shared that a new report from Educate Texas highlights in the exemplary practices of the college, our college, including dual credit. She said there were so many promising practices and personally invited us to submit a proposal to present at their next Pathways Institute on April 12 and 14 in Dallas. This event was kicked off the next 5 years of the Talent Strong Texas Pathway Strategy and focus on leadership equity and K-12 to higher education alignment, including dual credit. The other event Dr. Bailey encouraged us to present was at the Board of Trustees Institute that will be held in Lakeway, Texas on February 21st, 22nd of 2023. The focus of this event is to engage trustees from across the state and to spark conversations that will help them think about the role in supporting Texas Pathways reform and building a student-focused culture. The president and two of us would present if selected. I also observed new college presidents asking Dr. Rodriguez for support and assistance. Everybody is looking at us, and it has a lot to do with us. It never fails, and everybody mentions, your board's behind you. And I have to say that Dr. Rodriguez is not shy about saying, I can do this because my board is behind me. And I'm very, very, very proud of what I saw. It is clear to me that we are seen as leaders in our field. And I got that. I got that when the president for Laredo Junior College se le pegó a mi presidente. Tell me, how do we do it, What was really amazing is that I knew a lot of the people there. I knew the people from Laredo, I knew the people from El Paso, William Serrata. So it was like a really nice reunion. And all these presidents, except for the one in Laredo, have been presidents for a long time. And our president is right there with them. And I didn't see anybody coming to the other presidents and congratulating him and telling him he's doing a great job. So I'm very, very proud. Regarding the funding formula recommendations that Dr. Rodriguez will share with you in this report, we will need to discuss strategies in briefing our elected officials on our college's legislative priorities related to funding formulas. We need to start scheduling visits with our elected officials, in Austin during the upcoming legislative session, and I will convene a legislative committee in November to start discussing our strategies. I cannot stress enough how good it feels to talk to the commissioner, and he pulled me aside and asked me what had happened in the split, because he knew all about it. And he knew we were left in shambles, and he knew that we were doing so good. The fact that the president has served with him in a committee meant a lot. So we have good leadership. I think we got work to do. This is the first time that I feel as well, and I've been on the board for a long time, that the CEO of, is it TAC, right? Ray Martinez has become very inclusive, and he wants the board members to participate in a lot of these decisions. Also, I saw the fact that he has worked in legislature, and that is something that, unless you've done it, and I know you have done it, Dr. Zabaleta, you don't know how to move around those people. And we need to mentor some people to keep doing that, because the college has to go on. So I'm very, very proud of the visit that we took. Thank you, Mr. President, for all you do, for your time, for your dedication, and for all you do for the college.
You're very welcome. And again, I just do my part, and the trustees are doing their part, and faculty and staff and students are doing their part. It's a true collaborative effort, and I think it's that synergy that Texas Southmost College is moving forward with, and only collectively, this collective will puts TSC on the map. So it takes a great leadership and a lot of support from our trustees, so thank you.
Open it. Oh, what, we're done?
President's report.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to get a drink. And now we will continue with the fun part, the president's report.
All right, it's a little bit long, but again, thank you, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees. As always, great things are happening at Texas Southmost College. I mean, right off the bat, since our last board meeting, we celebrated the 16 de septiembre at the Oliveira Student Service second floor. Student Life organized several events to our students, including El Grito contest, the Loteria. They were treated to dance performers to celebrate Mexicans' independence. Several student clubs set up booths to sell snacks and recruit students to their clubs. I want to thank Chair Garza for speaking to the students and sharing her memories of this day while growing up. And I also want to thank Christine Garza and the Student Life team for organizing the event. It was a great and festive atmosphere. On September the 21st, the University of Houston representative visited the campus at my invitation. I asked members of the leadership team to meet with Ms. Joyce Williams, Program Director, Recruitment and Admissions for the C.T. Bauer College of Business at the University of Houston, and her team members. I met with Ms. Williams while at a meeting in the Upper Valley several months ago, and I invited her to come to our campus and recruit and advise our students. Ms. Williams and two of her colleagues met with Mr. McCormick, Mr. Luis Villarreal, Dr. Garcia, Mr. Re Villarreal, Mr. Oscar Hernandez, and Ms. Jamie Sainz, and Mr. Shafir. we were discussing a 2+2 between our Associates of Arts in Business degree and their Bachelor's of Business Administration degree. With our associate's degree 100% online and the last 2 years of their bachelor's degree 100% online, this is a good fit for our students who may not be in a position to relocate to Houston. Ms. Williams and the Associate Dean, College of Business, Frank Kelly, will be visiting with us on our campus during the week of November the 28th to iron out the details, and our articulation agreement will be presented to the board thereafter. We're very excited about this partnership. And our soccer team continues to go undefeated. Yay, yay, yay. The rankings came out this week, and we are ranked 9th in the NERSA regional ranking, the only community college on the list. I want to thank our trustees, faculty, staff, and students who continue to support the team at the games, starting with Chair Garza, who has attended all but one game this season, as well as the trustees, Secretary Aldrete, Past Chair Herrera, and Trustee Sainz. We have one more game this coming Saturday, October the 22nd, against Texas A&M College Station, who is ranked number 2 in the regional rankings. I invite everyone to the game this weekend to support our Scorpions. And for the moment that you have been waiting for, fresh off the press, we just received a letter from the NJCAA earlier today approving our membership. It's official. We will be members of Region 14. One of the traditions is having breakfast with the president and pizza with the president at the beginning of each semester. On September 22nd, Student Life organized breakfast with the president and ITEC, and what a turnout, I gotta tell you. We were expecting about 80 students, and instead we had well over 150 students attend. Our caterer had a hard time keeping up with the demand of those breakfast tacos, but it was a good problem to have. I want to thank Chair Garza for joining me at the breakfast. 2 days later, on September 29th, Student Life organized pizza with the president. This event was held at the gazebos, and students were treated to pizza and a drink. Once again, it was a great turnout. I want to thank Student Life and the faculty and staff who came out to support the event and engage with our students. On September 28th, our school partners, school districts, and charter schools were invited to attend the dual credit symposium organized by the College Transition Services and High School Programs and Services Department. 63 personnel, primarily counselors, attended the half-day event and were given a coveted backpack with TSC swag to display at their campuses. The purpose of the symposium was to bring school partners together to review changes within the college that were designed to streamline, simplify, and improve the processes that make dual enrollment an integral part of our mission. And based on the feedback I received, I would say we accomplished that. I want to thank Ms. Dulce Martinez and Mr. Jose Arambul for organizing the symposium. I once again want to thank Chair Garza for joining me in providing welcome remarks to our school partners. And finally, I want to thank all our school partners for continuing to believe in us, to partner with us in educating our students. Speaking of school partners, I was invited to the Harlingen Consolidated Independent School District to do the coin toss before the Harlingen South versus Brownsville Pace football game on September the 30th. Joining me on the field for the coin toss was Mr. Rene Villarreal, Ms. Dulce Martinez. I want to acknowledge Ms. Martinez and the college transition coaches for attending Friday night high school football games in the area to promote Texas Southmost College. She and her team were on hand passing out TSC swag at this game as well. I cheer for both teams as we have students from both high schools enrolled in our dual enrollment courses. In the end, Harlingen South came out victorious. I want to thank Harlingen Consolidated Independent School District trustees and superintendent for their continued partnership with us. On October 4th, Chair Garza, immediate past Chair Herrera, and I attended a reception for U.S. Ambassador Ken Salazar. We were invited by U.S. Consul General in Matamoros, Yolanda Parra. We had a wonderful time and were able to network with the ambassador and U.S. Consul, and also met with Mayor of Matamoros, Mario Alberto Lopez Hernandez, and even Lauro? Oh.
I'm saying his nickname.
Oh, okay. I don't know his nickname, so it's all formal. And even ran into some old friends. We had a great time. I do want to thank the U.S. Consul Parra for extending an invitation to us. We appreciate the partnership we have with her. Next, I visited Our Lady of the Lake University RGV campus in La Feria on October 5th. Dr. Garcia and I met with campus director Cindy Mata Vasquez and discussed possible articulation agreements. Ms. Vasquez then followed up with the meeting on our campus on October the 13th to work through additional details on articulation agreements for the following bachelor's degree program: the criminology and criminal justice, psychology, social work, multidisciplinary studies. I will keep you posted with our progress and hope to bring an MOU to the board soon. Harmony Public Schools South Area Superintendent, Mr. Saluk Bakir, and Georgette Bentancourt, Public Relations and Outreach Coordinator, visit with us on October 6th to discuss enhancing our partnership. We already offer dual credit courses for high school students. Harmony is interested in having us engage with their middle school students to provide motivational talks, mentorships, and program and career overviews to get them interested in continuing their education after high school. Dr. McCormick, Dr. Abu Salim, Dr. Pierce, Dr. Garcia, and Mr. Arambul join me for this meeting. We look forward to expanding our partnership with Harmony Schools. And on another note, I want to acknowledge Secretary Aldrete for participation at the Harmony Hispanic Heritage Month. Secretary Aldrete was invited by Harmony to visit with their elementary students on October 5th. She read to the students and also showed them related cultural activities like dancing and passed out TSC swag. Thank you, Secretary Aldrete, for taking your time to engage with our future Scorpions and putting TSC at a high place. So thank you. On October 2nd, Madam Chair, Jaime Salazar I met with the newly appointed Chief Patrol Agent for the U.S. Border Patrol, RGV Sector, Gloria Chavez. Chief Chavez is also an alumna of Texas Southmost College. We have invited Chief Chavez to serve as our commencement speaker and will also be hosting a reception for her in the near future. We look forward to our continued strong partnership with Chief Chavez and the U.S. Border Patrol. On another note, I know you will join me in extending our condolences to Chief Chavez and her family. Her mom passed away earlier this week.
This Sunday.
This week, yes, ma'am. Living History Day came back with a roar. After having a 2-year delay due to the pandemic. It was held on Saturday, October the 8th, on the grounds of the TSC Performing Arts Center. The Palo Alto Historical Commission brought the cannon to the grounds and fired it off 3 times that morning, and was just one of the many highlights. TSC faculty and community reenactors dressed in period and relayed history and stories from those times. The 21st century students displayed their exhibits in the packed lobby and were awarded prizes later in the morning. The Porter Conjunto also performed, as did the TSC music faculty. Several hundred community members attended and were treated to hot dogs, chips, and a drink. I want to thank Secretary Aldrete and Trustee Sines for joining us that morning. I want to thank faculty member Dirk Yarker in leading the efforts on organizing the event, along with Dr. Brian McCormick, faculty and staff. I also want to thank Virginia Sandoval for serving as MC and organizing the student clubs that attended the event to sell snacks and raise money for their clubs. I look forward to a bigger event next year. It was a wonderful, wonderful turnout. There's a lot of things happening, and we were also visited by Valley Baptist Legacy Foundation on October 11th, who were on site to review our food pantry and community garden project. The foundation recently awarded TSC over $100,000 to support our food pantry and community garden created in partnership with the Brownsville Wellness Coalition. The pantry is expected to serve at least 500 students this semester. I want to thank the TSC team members who have supported this initiative, from instruction and grants, Dr. Brian McCormick, Dr. Busalim, Dr. Fuentes, Mrs. Gonzalez from Student Services, Mr. Villarreal, Mr. Ponce, and Mr. Anel Alonso. This is a much-needed service for our students who have food insecurity. I want to thank the Valley Baptist Legacy Foundation for their support in funding this project, and the Brownsville Wellness Coalitions for their feedback and insight in developing the community garden. On October 12th, a job fair was held at the iTech with the focus on construction jobs. Several employers showed up, were present, and ready to hire. TSC program instructors were also available to talk to potential students about learning new skills for the construction industry. Participants were also able to use a virtual reality goggles to get an interactive preview of the tools used in various technical careers. I know someone here might have something to say about that. Trustee Aldrete? Did you wear them?
Oh, yes,
What'd you think?
I wore them, but we were waiting for the Wi-Fi. So I had to take them off. So somebody else was able to.
Whenever we bring folks over, we also present those goggles,
Yes.
and it's transformational. You look at them, and it gives you a real life experience of what you're doing and how you're working with the tools.
Yeah.
So thank you, Ms. Aldrete, for participating in the job fair and for trying out the goggles. Again, thank you for career services, Ms. Carol Sandoval and Dr. Flashman for helping coordinate the event. We had a great turnout and will continue to organize job fairs throughout the year. As a member of the Harlingen Area Chamber of Commerce, we attended the annual gala on October 13th in Harlingen. I want to thank Chair Garza, Secretary Aldrete, Mr. Tomlinson, Mr. Villarreal for representing TSC at the gala. Also sitting at our table were Mr. George McShann, Mr. Roel Rodriguez, TSC alum and pending TSC Foundation board member, maybe.
Yes.
As you know, Harlingen is in our service area, and we continue to look for ways to provide classes in and around the communities of the Northern Cameron and Willacy counties. Our Student Life Counseling and Student Accessibility Resource Teams organized the Autumn Mental Health Conference on October 13th. The event was held at Set B Lecture Hall. Students were encouraged to attend the sessions held that day. 3 speakers were invited to speak on family conflict, suicidal and major depressive disorders, and anxiety and panic disorder. Speakers were from Clarity Center, Tropical Texas Behavioral Health, and New Leaf Counseling. The message to students was, you are not alone. As a reminder, TSC students can seek free counseling service with Mario Garcia, TSC counselor and manager. I want to thank the organizers of the event, and a special thanks once again to Madam Chair for her support of our students and the staff at the event.
What a wonderful event that was. I mean, it was done so well. And all the speakers were on point. It was very, very well done, and I was very proud to be part of it. I'd been a board member for Tropical, so it was dear to my heart, and when I saw Tropical represented, I mean, they did a really good job with the presentation. I was proud.
Excellent. Good, good. They're a great partner and a friend of TSC. The Recreation Center staff conducted Mindful Mondays on the 3rd Monday of the month, starting in September. Attendees, students, and employees can participate in activities and resources for self-care to make mental health a priority. This month, we had several community partners providing information on mental health and also providing free back messages, smoothies, and more goodies to go. We even had a special guest stop by to show her support. Thank you, Madam Chair, once again for supporting our students and the employees. I want to thank Dr. Ponce, Mr. Cano, and Mrs. Hernandez for continuing to provide robust programs and services at the Recreation Center for our students and employees. As mentioned during Madam Chair's report, earlier this week, we traveled to Austin to attend the quarterly Texas Association of Community Colleges meeting. We attended an evening reception and networked with Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board Commissioner Dr. Harrison Keller and Ray Martinez, President and CEO of TAG. The main topics of the discussion is the newly recommended formula funding for community college that was approved by the Texas Commission on Community College Finance on Tuesday of this week. The commission will now be submitting the recommendations to the Texas Legislature in the upcoming session. The final recommendations are state funding for outcomes, approximately $430 million, to develop models of funding based on measurable outcomes, credentials of values, students who transfer to 4-year universities, and students who complete sequence of dual credit courses. Foundational levels of funding for instructional and operations. We talk about affordability for students, that's about $170 million, which is increased funding for the Texas Education Opportunity Grants, aid for dual credit, expand paid work-based learning opportunities, and investments for college capacity, another $50 million. That's to provide one-time seed grant for programs in high-demand fields, support and facility shared services, and stronger inter-institutional partnerships, update state policies, and build upon recent work by individual colleges to provide high-quality, non-credit credential programs that are convertible or stackable within the credit-bearing programs. So overall, these are favorable recommendations, but as always, the devil's in the detail. There's still plenty of work to be done, and we got to tease out that devil. And coming back to Madam's Chair's point, it'll be very crucial for the trustees to be engaged with their elected officials as we develop the details of these recommendations. But overall, I feel comfortable with the recommendation. The Texas Southmost College is in a good place. We're moving to an outcomes-based model funding, and TSC has been performing very well, so I'm comfortable that we'll do well. And the TSC Foundation report. At this time, I would like to call upon Mr. David Tomlinson to provide an update on the TSC Foundation.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, President Rodriguez. So, no golf tournament to talk about this evening. There's no immediate fundraising that we're doing. Well, we're always doing fundraising, right? But nothing on the books right now. But month of October has really been about community outreach and getting out into the community and doing some wonderful things with some of the things that we've already been doing, and then reaching into new areas of the county, especially in the Harlingen area. As Dr. Rodriguez did mention, Mr. Roel Rodriguez was a TSC alum that played baseball here at TSC back in the 80s, and he had shown up for the cafe grand opening ribbon cutting. And so I was asked, to have lunch with him, and so I did, and come to find out, he's got all this great webs of people that he is really close to, and especially in the Harlingen area. And so after having this lunch, I came back and I told Madam Chair, I said, I think he's an excellent individual, and now he's being actually nominated to be serving on the TSC Foundation Board. So that his nomination will be coming up next Tuesday, as well as Mr. Edward Bustos. So it was really neat to see a TSC alum also showing interest after his retirement from, once again, Border Patrol. But he is also working for New York Life, and so it was great to see his enthusiasm for the college and for TSC. And I believe he was at Saturday's game as well, so he's already showing up and representing. In addition to, also met with Mr. Javier De Leon, who is the CEO of the Greater Harlingen Chamber of Commerce. And so we've been having discussions on how, we really start getting embedded furthermore into the Harlingen area. And it's not so much, with the foundation, but it's also talking about the college and being able to do great things in Harlingen and promoting the college at that point. And as well with Mr. George McShann, who many of you know, we've also been having discussions on those doors that he's able to open for us in the city of Harlingen. And so been working closely with these individuals in that area, and hopefully we'll be reporting back with some additional donorships possibly coming from that area. Another thing during the month of October was obviously attended numerous ribbon cuttings, and that's part of something that I do year round because of my involvement with the Bienvenidos Committee with the Brownsville Chamber. So I attended some of most of these ribbon cuttings during the month of October, but I wanted to highlight these two. Number one, the Pedro P. Benavides Park had a ribbon cutting for a new basketball court that they had there. And usually we get introduced as the Bienvenidos Committee of the Chamber of Commerce. And it was great on this day to be introduced as Texas Southmost College. And so that's what, the purpose is so that we're representing. And so it was good to see that all the county officials and everybody that was in attendance that day saw that TSC was representing at this event. True Title Lower Valley, it's a new title company that's in town. Went to theirs and having discussions with the owner, found out that he's from Lubbock. And so I mentioned Texas Tech, and he said, yep, I'm a graduate, and put up his fingers and shut the guns, whatever they do over there. And so I brought up to him, and I said, well, I said, Texas Southmost College has an articulation agreement with Texas Tech with our architectural program. And so I mentioned that and the great work that Dr. Abu Salim is doing. And so he was very impressed that our college down in deep South Texas was doing great things with a college, university in North Texas. So they were really impressed with that, and hopefully we'll be hitting them up for a sponsorship as well. The other thing is the First Friday. It's a group that Dr. Garcia found out about, and so I attended. Obviously, they meet on the first Friday of every month, and it's a bunch of individuals from organizations and also, government agencies that meet, and they go around the different parts of the valley and they look at different things. On this particular Friday, which was the first meeting I attended, we got a tour of the new Hidalgo County Courthouse, which is an amazing building compared to what they've had for the last 100 years. But it's about just getting involved with everybody else from the valley. And so obviously right away I said, well, we'd love to have you and sponsor you at TSC. And so we'd love to have you come down and tour the campus as well. So we're looking forward to having them come down. Leadership Brownsville had what they call the Ignite Leadership Symposium. I attended that. It was held here at the PAC. And they had some wonderful leadership experts from around the country and from Mexico that presented on that day. And so it was really nice to be able to attend that and see just what leaders around the country came to our college and to also present in that beautiful building that we have. Last page, real quick, just as the president did mention, I was honored to sit with Madam Chair and Secretary Aldrete last week at the Harlingen Chamber of Commerce Gala. Also went to the Cameron County Chamber of Commerce Networking Mixer, so we're really getting out there as far as community outreach. A couple of notes, our foundation, the Board of Directors meeting will be held next Tuesday. And then I will also be a participant in Leadership Harlingen, and that is also starting next Thursday. So we'll be attending a meeting once a month, learning about Harlingen and obviously promoting the college at that point. Last thing, if you can put in your calendars tentatively, but it's more than likely going to happen on November the 30th, we will be having our scholarship recipient reception, and we'll be having that at the Performing Arts Center there in the main lobby area. And we are going to recognize our scholarship recipients from the foundation on that evening for the fall semester. And so this is something that we have been wanting to do. It's coming to fruition this year, and so we're going to be able to start that one off on November the 30th. So obviously, as more information is readily available, we'll be passing that along to the trustees as well. So if any other questions, this concludes my report. Dr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
And now, as I always say, the sun always shines on TSC. So let's run this month's video highlighting the activities that have occurred since we last met.
happy to see so many faces here in our campus this morning.
It's been a long time coming, and we're all back together celebrating one of our greatest events here on campus, Living History Day.
We have been working for this all season long, to play this game, to be undefeated. So I'm very happy, I'm very proud. Thank you to all the fans, to the Board of Trustees, to the President for helping us out, for supporting us throughout the season. And we're looking forward to go to the regionals and make an impact over there.
Congratulations to the 2023 Divisional Champions, los Escorpiones. Right.
I didn't come to live in history because I followed the soccer team to San Antonio. And that was awesome. I also want to say something about breakfast with the president. The board spent a lot of money at iTech, and I had always seen it fragmented because we have the medical, and then we have the electricians, and we have the auto mechanics, and we have. That morning, everyone was together at the center courtyard, right? Eating breakfast. And it was amazing to take pictures with every group, and then I realized this is what $24 million look like. We are making a huge difference in our community. All those people are gonna go to work soon.
Yes.
So how many people do you think we had? Over 100.
Over
way
150.
About 150? Yeah. A lot of students. And it was fun to see them tell you about their dreams. I got to see the auto mechanics, which I'd never paid attention to that. And the guys came over, they wanted to take a picture with us. And he says, well, what do you know about cars? So of course I had to tell him, my brother used to race stock cars, so you know. So we started talking about cars, but it was the pride. This is what they want to do for the rest of their lives. So it was very interesting. I was glad to be there. And I want to say something about the dual enrollment, because at that conference that we had for the dual enrollment school districts, I realized that there was no complaints. I realized that they came up, and I can think of Ms. Batzel came up and said, you've made it so easy for us. Every year it gets easier. I used to have to fill 3 forms to change something. I can just scratch it out and change it. And I want to thank whoever is in charge. I know Mr. Arambul and Mr. Rene have a lot to do with that, and it was so refreshing to hear all good things. There wasn't one complaint that I heard.
Nope.
So,
Thank you. What you see in the videos, what you hear, this is what you're seeing. A well-rounded education to our students, a very well-diverse student life. That's why I keep saying, welcome to the greatest place on earth, Texas Southmost College.
yes.
So thank you to the Board of Trustees for the continued commitment and support to our college and community we serve. I also want to thank all the employees, faculty, staff, and students for their hard work and service. I know we started the semester very strong, and I am confident we're going to finish stronger. This concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. And number 5, I think we'll go into, the board will convene into executive session as provided by Government Code, Chapter 551.071, 551.072, and 551.074. We're now in executive session. We're back from executive session. Recommended motion from executive session?
I have a motion.
Go ahead, Ms. Sands.
I move to allow TSC counsel to move forward with resolution of litigation as discussed in executive session.
I have a motion by Ms. Science,
Second.
second by Mr. De Leon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. We will go into,
See. Criminal justice. And we
okay, item number 8. Item number 8, consideration and possible action on the minutes of the following meetings. Are we done? No, we got the full.
Consideration and
That's where I
possible
was going,
action.
You brought me here. No, let's start, no. Item
What happened to number
Seven.
7?
number 7.
Seven.
Skip that one, because I need to get the report.
Number 7.
Oh, okay.
Skip.
So we're coming back?
Yes, we'll go back to that one.
Yeah, it's number 8, man.
So I move, so, number 8.
Nos íbamos a ir temprano todos. Es que esto usually is at the end.
Yes.
I'm not gonna do that. Finance Committee, I'll call,
No, we
No,
didn't,
number
we need
8.
to approve number 8.
Number 8. The minutes.
where are the minutes?
Number 8.
Mr. President, ¿por qué me hizo esto aquí? Aquí. Except,
Yes.
these are the minutes. I was thinking it was the regular board meetings for the dates. Consideration and possible action on the minutes of the
Yes.
following meeting. Regular meeting, September the 15th, 2022. I'll entertain a motion.
I move to accept the minutes as read.
I have a motion by Ms. Delia Saenz, second by Ms. Alejandro. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
That's committee.
Number 9.
Yes.
Yes.
Finance Committee, and I'll call Ms. Alejandra Aldrete.
The Finance Committee met on Monday, October 10th, 2022. Present were Mr. Herrera, Dr. Zabaleta, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC Administration, and Board Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following items: consideration and possible action on approval of the rollover of fiscal year 22 purchase order commitments and pending projects with budget amendment 23-001. I call on Dr. Gisela Figueroa and
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you for your consideration have the approval of the fiscal year 22 purchase order commitments and pending projects with budget amendment 2301. On your packet, you have a listing of every one of the purchase orders that were in progress or in transit during the end and the beginning of the next fiscal year, as well as the projects that we have transitioning from one year to the next.
I move to approve the rollover fiscal year 22 purchase order commitments and pending projects with budget amendment 23-001.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete, second
I second it.
by Ms. Saenz. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
9B, Fund Balance Operation Report. I call on Dr. Gisela Figueroa.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you have the report that shows the number of operating dates and fund balance. This report has not changed. It goes from the audited financial statements from fiscal year 21 in the approvals that were done within last fiscal year. There's a total of 132.96 days, almost 133 in fund balance.
This item is for information only. No action is required. 9C, Institutional Cares Expenditure Report.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you, you have the CARES expenditure report for this month. The current new expenditures were $311,123. And in your packet, you have a listing of all the different vendors with description of each one of those expenses that comprise that $311,000.
This item is for information only. No action is required. 9D, fourth quarter investment report for fiscal year 2022.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. With your permission, I'll have Mr. Carlos Pesero present our fourth quarter investment report.
Thank you, Dr. Figueroa. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, we have for you the fourth quarter investment report for fiscal year 2022. We have the report in a similar format as we have presented before, where we have the type of investment or product along the left of the report, and then comparative quarters in the detail for the report with average yields and the interest earned on the final column. Now, these reports typically have 4 to 5 pages in them with plenty of detail, and I mainly concentrate my presentation up on the table that's up here that summarizes that data. So I'll go ahead and do that again for this quarter. If we were to look at the last column on that table, our fourth quarter values, we can see that current funds, we have approximately 69 million, loan funds of 69,000, endowment of 3.4, plant funds of almost 15 million, and then agency funds of almost 14,000. With a total interest earned for the quarter of 162,000 with $1. Along with this report, we also present a list of the current certificates of deposit that are out with the bank that holds those funds and the amounts in principal related to each one of those CDs. On the following slide, we have a list of the certificates of deposit that have already matured. And we can see the maturity date on the second column, along with the bank where those CDs sat before, and the amount of interest that was earned at the very last column for each of those CDs once they matured. And then finally, on my report, we have a schedule that includes all of the banks that we include when solicitations are requested for potential investments with different banks when CDs come up for maturity. And I believe with that, that concludes my report, Madam Chair.
This item is for information only. No action is required. 9E, grants awarded to Texas Southmost College for the month of September 2022. I call on Dr. Fuente.
Okay. Good evening, TSC Board of Trustees, Madam Chair, and Dr. Rodriguez. I'm here to report on the grants that we received in the month of September. The first one's our annual Perkins grant. We received a little over $248,000, which is what we get annually. It varies. Next one is the Texas Workforce Commission. We have a SDF grant with Rich Products for $132,000 to provide training to their employees. Second, with BISD, we have a sub-award for $60,000. We have 22 students in our GED CNA program. Next is the National Science Foundation, a sub-award of $5,250, and it's to partner with another school to help with math education. And in particular, research with math students, English language learner math students. And last, we did have to re-sign a NOGA for a decrease in funding from a Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board in the amount of $15,000. This was an internship grant. When we submitted the proposal, it was based on projections. So once the semester and the summer were over, spring and summer, we didn't have as many students doing their internships for various reasons. And so we did not spend the complete amount. So we had to give back $15,000.
Okay, this item is for information only. No action is required. And this concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Thank you, Dr. Fuentes. Item number 10, Student Services. And I'll call on Ms. Delia Sines to present the item.
The Student Services Committee met on Monday, October 10th, 2022, via Zoom. Present were myself, members of the TSC administration, and Board Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following: Athletics NJCAA update. I call on Mr. Rene Villarreal and Dr. Armando Ponce to present.
Thank you, Ms. Sines. Madam Chair, President Rodriguez, members of the board, you've heard the good news. I just wanted to come up front and we'll give you a short overview of what transpired, but I just want to make sure that you're aware that we thank you from the kindness of our heart for your support as we work through this. Dr. Rodriguez was instrumental in helping us stride through this as much as we kind of struggled and said, I don't know if we're going to be able to do this. But thanks to his support, he says, you're going to do this. And I can't thank everybody in this room enough for all of the merit, the additional support, and more importantly, to Dr. Ponce for getting us through. So I'd like to ask him to give a short presentation.
We never had any doubts.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I do want to say that our national visit was on the 12th, our regional visit was the 28th, and one of the responses that we got was they were very, very happy with the support of the Board of Trustees. Knowing that you had approved the athletic program in August, it really did go a long way that the institution was supporting our program, that the support of Dr. Rodriguez and the administration. That's one of the comments that they did make to us, that they were very happy to see such strong support from our leadership, and that they know that we'll be a great asset to Region 14. So thank you for all your support, for your leadership, Dr. Rodriguez, for also guiding us and getting us to the finish line. What happens next is November 1st, we can start recruiting our student athletes. We can start sending out letters of intent, and our athletic program will start getting kicked off.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. I did meet the lady. What was her name?
Mr. Rodriguez, yeah.
Yeah, I did meet her, and she did express that she was very happy to see that we had a very united board and strong board. Thank you. But it's not just for the students, it's for all of us, it's for the community. In this last soccer game, there were over 150 people watching. So it's drawing community support. So thank you guys for all you did.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
What does the recruitment entail? Are we going to go out? How far out do we go for recruitment, or?
Well, we're definitely going to start here in our regionally in our area, but Bronzeville and the Valley in general, but Bronzeville has a very strong history of soccer. So the first thing we're going to do is, communicate with our local high schools. We already have our eye on some students. We already have a list of students from last year that we're going to go and recruit. So we're definitely going to make the Valley proud, and we are going to have a lot of homegrown support.
Well, we always said there was going to be local. We're not going to bring people from Brazil.
That's what I want to.
We have a lot of talent here in the Valley. So there's a deep well of talent that we can draw from. And I know that the community's excited about the opportunity. Our club soccer boys are excited, and it's a great day for the Brownsville, for sure.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Ponce, can you in a nutshell tell me about the girls' soccer?
Same thing, we do have a lot of talent here. Unfortunately, similar to the boys, is that the talent here locally gets recruited to go play in San Antonio, in Houston.
At other universities.
And some of the junior colleges that we're going to be competing against, Tyler, Novato, Trinity Valley, they pluck the best athletes from here because they weren't any opportunities. Now they have a platform to showcase their talents.
So is the girls' soccer team going to be implemented next year?
Yes, they're both going to be implemented at the same time.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have to have.
We're recruiting for both men's and women's.
Okay, that's what I want to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This item is for information only. No action is required.
That concludes your report, Mrs. Science?
That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Science. Item 11, Academic Committee, Dr. Zavaleta.
Yes, ma'am. The academic committee met on Monday, October 10th. Ms. Sines and I were present along with Texas Southern College Administration, and we considered the following 4 items. 11A, consideration and possible action on the amendment to the material transfer agreement between Texas Southernmost College and the University of Pittsburgh. And I'll call upon to explain what this is.
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Rodriguez. This first item consists of an amendment to an existing material transfer agreement that TSC has with the University of Pittsburgh. The University of Pittsburgh runs C-Phages in partnership with Howard Hughes Medical Institute. They provide our biology labs and science courses. They provide them host bacteria species and phages. They offered us an additional host bacterial species or phage this year. I won't pronounce it because it's really long. The last part is teddy bear, so that's the part I can pronounce. But the original agreement we had was signed in March of 2020, and we are basically attempting to ask your permission to amend this our agreement to allow us to handle this additional species.
Okay.
The MOU has been reviewed and approved by both college and board legal counsel.
Dr. Zavaleta, you satisfied?
Are there any questions? If not, I move to approve the proposed amendment of material transfer between Texas Southernmost College and the University of Pittsburgh.
Second. I have a motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by Ms. Alejandro. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item number 11B, consideration and possible action on approval of matching grant support for the 21st Annual Binational Literary Conference, Letras en el Estuario. Dr. McCormick?
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, President Rodriguez, this next item is we're asking for support or approval of a matching grant submitted in support of our 21st Annual Binational Literary Conference, Letras en el Estuario. This event is hosted by TSC's Communication and Language Department and the Division of Humanities. This event is designed to advance heritage, culture, and education by providing the general public, students, and faculty an opportunity to learn about and appreciate the creative writings of regional border authors on both sides of the border. This year's keynote speaker is Mr. Eduardo Langen. He's a leading scholar in the field of poetics and has presented worldwide on numerous occasions. We are asking the Board of Trustees to approve the allocation of matching grant support in the amount of $1,457, consisting of in-kind cost sharing for facilities, AV support, and what have you, and $479 in matching funds from the Division of Humanities for custodial services and security and things like that. It's all contingent on approval of the grant from Humanities Texas. The event, by the way, is scheduled tentatively for February 10th. 2023.
Any questions? No. I'm happy to recall that I created this program 21 years ago. I move to approve the allocation of matching grant support in the amount of $1,457 in-kind cost sharing for facilities and AV support, and $479 cash from the Humanities Department operating budget, for a total of $1,936 contingent on the notice of grant award from Humanities Texas for $1,456, and to authorize President Rodriguez to execute the related documents as presented.
A motion by Dr. Zavaleta,
I second it.
second by Ms. Science. Any discussion? Tell us about, when did you start that?
Excuse me?
When did you start that?
21 years ago.
21 years ago?
21 years
21
ago.
years ago.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good.
And I've attended several
Much
times.
thinner.
You have?
When I was studying to be a teacher, they would send us for extra points.
Really? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item number 11C, consideration of possible action on approval of digital classroom software license for FY 22-23. I call upon Dr. McCormick.
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, President Rodriguez. I'm bringing for your consideration and possible action on the approval of an annual license purchase of digital classroom software. It's called Body Interact Digital Classroom Software. It's a cutting-edge medical simulation tool for primarily our nursing students, which uses realistic virtual patients for problem solving and clinical reasoning. The software exposes students to lifelike situations and enables them to observe changes in visible signs and symptoms or lab tests that help in treating the virtual patients. The original software, the original purchase was done in June 2021. We're going to renew that with your approval. This agreement, the software, if agreed upon, will basically allow us to have 3 content packages for 40 virtual patients and up to 1,000 user accounts. The expenses are covered by the Carl Perkins funding account, which is approved for fiscal year 2022-2023. The annual purchase is in accordance with purchasing methods as defined by TSC board policy. And again, we are asking the Board of Trustees to approve the annual license for digital classroom software in the amount of $25,850 with Body Interact through sole source funding, sole source purchasing method. Okay.
Motion?
Are there any questions? There being no questions, I move to approve the annual license purchase for digital classroom software in the amount of $25,850 with Body Interact Incorporated through sole source purchasing method, and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the purchase order as presented.
Second it.
A motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by Ms. Alejandro. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Okay, item 11D, consideration of possible action on a memorandum of understanding for skills development fund proposal between Texas Southmost College and various companies.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Mr. President, good evening.
Good evening.
You have before you a consideration for possible action of a memorandum of understanding for skills development fund proposals between TSC and companies. The MOU that you have in your packet has been reviewed and approved by both legal counsels. The purpose of this agreement is to standardize our MOU process so that in the future, when we're dealing with a company, all we should have to do is change the name of the company and the signee.
Okay,
Okay.
questions? There being no questions, I move to approve the MOU and authorize President Rodriguez to enter into the agreement with private partners.
I have a motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by Mr. De Leon. Discussion. I know that there's a lot of people coming to us for training. And I was with the president yesterday, and he himself got 2 calls from companies that want to come train with us. So we do need a standardized
Yes,
MOU.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, and the final item is 11E, consideration and possible action on award of RFP.
We have to vote.
Oh, we need to vote. I'm sorry.
Excuse me?
We need to vote.
All in
Oh, I
favor?
thought you had.
Oh, no, I thought we had
Excuse
to. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Okay, thank
ahead,
you.
sir. I'm
11,
sorry. I
consideration
apologize.
and possible action on award of RFP 22-45 for a laser welding system.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Rodriguez. You have before you consideration and possible action on award for RFP 22-45 for laser welding systems. Recently, the college was awarded a Texas Reskilling and Upskilling Educational Grant. The purpose of this RFP we have tonight enables the college to purchase $412,495 of new laser welding equipment. Immediately upon receiving the notification that we had been awarded the grant, the purchasing department went to work. They submitted an RFP and published it on August 26th. We had a pre-proposal conference on September 7th. We reviewed the submission. We had one company who submitted a proposal. We reviewed that on September 14th, went to the subcommittee, and we are here this evening to share those results. The laser welding equipment that we are looking at will pay for 6 systems. It will allow us to train up to 12 individuals at a time. We're purchasing this equipment to support the training needs of one of our local businesses. The company that submitted the only proposal was GNC Optimization out of Corpus Christi, Texas. As you are aware, the funds to pay for this equipment are being covered under the Texas Reskilling and Upskilling for Education Grant, and I am asking the board to consider authorizing President Rodriguez to execute the purchase for $412,495 in laser equipment.
Thank you.
Okay, there be no, yes?
Motion.
There be no questions, then I move to award RFP 22-45 for laser welding equipment to GNC Optimization in the amount of $412,495 and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the purchase order as presented.
I have a motion by Dr. Zavaleta. Second by Ms. Alejandro. Discussion.
Yes, Dr. Flashman, we already have some of this equipment already?
We do not have any laser equipment. This will be new to us.
Other.
We have, last month, we met to discuss the purchase of orbital tube welding equipment, which again is a completely
It's a
different
different-
type of welding system.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Flashman, can you let the board know about the fact that this is the only college that will be offering this?
That is well said, ma'am. We are and will be the only college that offers a laser welding training. And truly, it places us right at the forefront of technology as we build out the aerospace industry. We are in the position to serve those needs and grow our presence of this college within industry. Thank you for your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion
That
carries.
concludes my report.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Termino con esto y luego voy. Facilities Committee.
Thank you. The Facilities Committee met on Monday, October 10th. Present were Dr. Zavaleta, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC administration, and board legal counsel. The committee discussed the following items. 12A, consideration and possible action on agreement approval for TCEQ air monitoring site agreement with the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. I call on Dr. Figueroa.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you and for your consideration, it's an agreement with TCEQ Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, to lease a portion of the ITEC to put in air monitoring station. Currently, it is in our campus. We already have an agreement with them right behind the Armory building, but because we're going to be utilizing that building, we had asked them to move, and they asked if they could relocate to the ITEC. Both legal counsels have reviewed the agreement.
Can you show the picture of where they're going to be relocated?
Yes.
Right there.
That's the picture. It's at the very corner in the back of the ITEC.
Okay. So I move to approve TCEQ air monitoring site agreement with the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality and authorize President Rodriguez to sign the agreement.
A motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Ms. Alejandro. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
12B, consideration and possible action on award of RFP 2235 jury and gallery seating. Dr.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Before you and for your consideration, we have RFP 2035 for jury and gallery seating of the courthouse and criminal justice new program. This RFP began from March of this year. We did stop the process at one point in time because of the concern of the amount of money that was costing. We came back with the subcommittee for the courthouse and reconsider and brought a new proposal to the board. This is a schematic of what the mock courtroom will look like once finished. We have separated between blue and orange, and I'll explain in a minute what the outsourced and in-house means. But basically, the original RFP came back with the price tag of $58,671, and that included gallery benches, jury chairs, attorney chairs, plus the delivery and installation of those. Again, because of some concerns with the amount of money, we went and met back with the committee. They gave us the task of looking at an alternate option. The alternate option was to substitute the attorney chairs and the jury chairs with the least, a more budget-friendly chair. As you have there in your in the presentation, and just purchase the benches from the vendor. The pieces that are highlighted in orange will be built in-house by our facilities staff. So by doing that, we are proposing that RFP be awarded for 8 benches at a cost of $16,540. And then the alternate seating option of buying jury chairs and attorney chairs for $9,828, making a grand total of $26,368 instead of the $58,000. And the rest of the furniture will be built in-house. And these are some pictures of the millwork design that will be utilized by our staff to build those pieces of furniture. The expenditures for this is coming from the approved budget for the project for the courthouse.
So I move to award RFP 2235 for jury and gallery seating to Custom Fixtures Incorporated DBA Vatican Scholar Manufacturing in the amount of $16,540 and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the purchase order contract as presented.
A motion, Ms. Aldrete. Second by Mr. De Leon. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
12C, consideration and possible action on award of RFP 2241, interior and exterior painting of Raul J. Guerra Childhood Studies Center.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Before you, for your consideration and possible action, have RFP 2241. This is for painting of the Raul J. Guerra Center, the one that it's Las Casitas. This RFP began on August 26, 2022, and we're here today to present it to the board. The scope of work includes the exterior and interior painting of 49,800 square feet, which is four casitas in the main administration building on that side of the childcare, doing some manual repairs, pressure washing, door installation, exterior playground paint, and this work is to be done during the breaks of Thanksgiving and winter break to ensure that the kids are not present. The evaluation committee consisted of Mr. Hector Espino, Ms. Yvonne Sanchez, Ms. Marcela Juarez, Ms. Marisela Nava, and Mr. Raul Cano. We received two proposals, one from C&M Contractors and Chapa Custom Solutions. The evaluation criteria that was used to evaluate this proposal is the same one that we use in all of our proposals. And what we have, these expenses will be coming from a child care release fund grant that we have. This is part of what got approved with that grant for this fiscal year. And the proposal we have is to award that RFP to interior and exterior paint at the child care to C&M Contractors.
So I move to award RFP 2241 for interior and exterior painting of Raul J. Guerra Childhood Study Center to C&M Contractors, LLC, in the amount of $96,821 plus 10% contingency for unexpected events, and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the purchase order contract as presented.
A motion by Ms. Aldrete. Second?
Second that.
Second by Ms. Alejandro. Discussion?
I'd like to know if the San Benito contractor, if their bid was considered.
Yes, we had two contractors. The only difference was, one is the price point on the proposal, but they were both qualified to do the job, sir.
Can you repeat again where the funds are going to come from to pay for this?
It's from the Child Care Relief Fund grant.
So if we went with the San Benito company, do we have that difference?
We, yes, we will.
That's what, about $12,000 difference? $14,000 difference?
Does the grant can the grant cover the 110?
I will need to check with the grant award agency to see if they were to allow the higher amount, given that the review of the grant, one of the things that in the selection criteria, it's price. But I can ask from the grantor at this moment.
Is it costume solutions or
Yes.
custom?
Costume.
Custom. Okay. 'Cause that was a red flag for me, like.
So what is the wish of the board? Do you want to table it and see if we can?
Well, I mean, I'm also a believer that we should give local businesses in the valley.
I also
If we want
agree
to
with
put
that.
ourselves in the map.
And we always agree with that, but it's a $14,000 difference. I mean, if it was $2,000, I could.
But it's a grant that's paying, it's not our, our local funds.
It
So,
doesn't matter.
I mean, if,
Still spending it.
Yes.
It could be, those 14,000 could be spent somewhere else.
I think we should make every effort to support local businesses.
we always do that, but do you,
$14,000.
$14,000 difference?
can we maybe
25% contingency too.
We can go back and,
No, sorry.
Okay.
I'll do whatever the wishes of the board is. If you want to table it and come back, Dr. Figueroa, you want to check on that and give this company the extra 14,000? Have you worked with
San Benito.
custom?
No.
with
Have
the
you-
other one, with CNM?
Have you worked with the other?
No. Neither one of them have we worked with before.
Okay.
What about the time frame?
Do we have time?
They're both gonna do it.
The timeframe, we did ask in the RFP that they had to meet our timeframe of working during the Thanksgiving holiday and the Christmas holiday, because the work needs to be done when the children are not present. So if we table it and bring it back next board meeting, that is gonna pose a challenge with the timing.
Okay.
I have a comment, I guess. In reading the RFPs, the Chapa one was very,
Eva, put this down.
I'm sorry. In reading the RFPs, the Chapa RFP was very general, whereas the other was very detailed, where they told you exactly what days they were going to do, how many days you're going to take, et cetera, et cetera. Both of them said they could do it during the time frame, when the children are not there. But like I said, it was very general, very vague. It was like a one-sentence thing.
Okay, then that's.
Okay,
Take
tell
it.
me what you want to do. Do you want to vote on it?
We vote on it.
I have a motion by Ms.
Aldrete.
Second by, was it you? No.
Eva.
Ms. Alejandro?
Yes.
Okay, we're done with discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against?
Against.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Next. My hands are dry. 12D, consideration and possible action on award of RFP 2246 audiovisual upgrades for auditorium and conference room.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez, before you, you have an action item to consider an award of a RFP for audiovisual upgrades for auditorium and conference rooms, specifically for the Jacob R. Brown building. As you know, we went through an RFP process conducted over the last few months. We had pre-proposal meetings, proposal meetings. We actually had a tour of the Jacob Brown facility with the vendors, and there were probably 13 or 14 vendors that went through the tour. At the end of the day, we had 5 respondents. You can see this solution will be to provide audio and visual solutions, not just to the main auditorium, but also to the surrounding buildings. So Stillman, the Women's Center, Stokely, and the lobby itself. There's just a diagram of where we would be covering. So basically that whole area. Mr. Garcia, Mr. Picasso, Mr. Tran, myself, and Ms. Juarez were the selection committee, evaluation committee. I do want to thank Mr. Morris and Mr. Picasso for doing the heavy lifting on the development of the RFP, because this was very much a multimedia kind of thing. So I get to come up and talk, but they did all the work.
We have
as
an
you-
awesome, we have an awesome.
They are
department.
amazing.
They are.
amazing. So if all of us could do what they do with their department, we would shine, right? So
No stones.
is that enough, Gabriel, or do I have to go on? Okay, so.
I was impressed with the committee itself. Huh?
Committee was amazing. So as you can see, this is the pricing and scoring tabulation. This is one of those cases where the vendor that scored the highest based on our criteria was also the lowest in terms of the proposal amount. However, as it is with many of these kinds of proposals, various kinds of equipment, various vendors were included and so on. As you can see, PCS Telecom, International Global, they were also very highly rated. In the case of International Global Solution, they have exceeded our budget for this project. I sort of buried the lead here. The intention is to use CARES Act money for this purchase. So if you'll recall, when Dr. Figueroa reported a board meeting or two ago, we went back to the Department of Education to propose projects for this. Spend expensive CARES Act money, and Jacob Brown was one of them, right? But it was capped at $1 million. So IGS is over that. PCS Telecom is right on the border. Mr. Picasso, Mr. Morris were convincing in the sense that PCS Telecom did not always include commercial grade equipment. It was more consumer grade equipment. So at the end of the day, we think we've got the best solution with Mankin. We are proposing the 25% allowance because we know that we're going to have trouble getting some of this equipment due to the supply chain issues. So we're going to have to negotiate along the way with them, and if we can't get certain equipment they proposed, because we have a CARES Act deadline of around April. So lot on the line. So anyway, that is our proposal to award the RFP to Mankin Media Systems.
I move to award RFP 2246 for audiovisual upgrades for auditorium and conference rooms to Mankin Media Systems in the amount of $718,000 plus 25% contingency to cover unforeseen events, and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the purchase order as presented.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? None?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Thank you.
12E, facilities update, Dr. Figueroa.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you, you have our facilities update with the 5 projects or higher end projects that we're working currently. The first one is the iTech dealers roof renovation. We are about 95% done with that project. We are still hopefully on track to complete with the next couple of weeks that project. These are some of the pictures on the dealer's roof and the rejoist replacement of that building. So despite the rain, we're still within a couple of weeks of completion, that project. The next one is the campus parking lot improvement. We have the work in progress. When we submitted this, we have just finished liner and Tandy. We're still in progress, but now they've been completed. All the work in the main campus has been completed, and we're moving on. These are some pictures of the parking lot while they were in progress, and we have moved now to the iTech. So this is how the parking lots look now.
That looks so good.
they've
Look
been
at that.
A big change, right? The next project that we have is the courtroom and criminal justice program. We are, the plumbing work, it's about 70%. We're working with insulation and electrical. Millwork, we finalized that. The committee gave us some guidance on how to move on the millwork, so we're working on that. And as you saw, the gallery and the seating will be outsourced, so we will be submitting those. For the furniture actually already arrived, the one we had ordered in April.
Yes.
So we were waiting since April for it, and it just came in. So we're glad that at least we got that.
Is that
already.
the classroom, right?
The classroom furniture, ma'am, yes. We will be ordering the benches and the jury and the lawyer seating just right after this board meeting. And these are some of the pictures. The subcommittee for this project has been meeting, and we've made some progress. We were given some direction on how to move with some of the changes that needed to be done due to the space on that project. So we'll continue working on that. The next project is the Oliveda Student Services Center, second floor restroom additions. Work is under progress. The demo is begun, and as well as the electrical. We estimate this project to be completed by January.
When did you need it?
By January.
Oh, then it will be done.
Maybe, I don't know. I think the 17th or something like that.
In January?
Do you think we'll be
Later
complete,
season.
we'll be done before January 17th?
You don't
Oh, we have
think so?
Huh?
You don't know?
I don't know, sir, but we currently still have the other restrooms that are working.
Yeah.
This is just the additional restroom.
Yes.
So it's, we're still using the top floor. Now that the cafe is open, we have quite a bit of traffic upstairs.
We'll try.
Okay.
And these are some pictures of the demo that is taking place in that project. The next project that we'll be reporting is the rigging and lighting. The rigging is complete. Now, the electrical demo and installation of the lighting, it's in progress. We had originally estimated this project to be done in October, which we endured some delays, especially with the electrical. But our set deadline is to have it, if not by the end of November, the very first days of December before graduation. So it'll be ready by graduation. Good. And these are some of the changes that they've been doing onto the electrical work for the.
Very nice, clean.
On you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. This item is for information only, no action is required. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Policy Committee, Mr. De Leon.
The best for last. The Policy Committee met on Wednesday, October 12, 2022. Present were Mr. Herrera, Chair Garza, President Rodriguez, members of the TSC administration, and Board Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following item: consideration and possible action on approval of the following local policy DHB, and DHC. I will call on Mr. Perez to present this item.
Thank you, Chair Garza, members of the board, and President Rodriguez. Before you, you have two local policies, DHB and DHC local, as with recommended changes by TASB that were included in Legal Policies 43. The first item in your packet is DHB, Employee Standards of Conduct, Child Abuse, and Neglect Reporting. Now, this policy has just been renamed, and everything from DHC, the old DHC, which was this policy, has been moved to DHB with two changes. The first change is that a tweak has been made to change or alter to whom and by whom reporting of abuse is made, okay? And the second change is a change that's required by House Bill 3379, which replaced the standard of cause, C-A-U-S-E, to reasonable cause, which is a slightly different standard in the legal profession. So those are the two changes. Basically, an old policy came up and replaced this policy. It was renamed, and those two changes were made. The second policy that was reviewed was DHC local, and DHC local used to be DGC local, which was the old policy that the board considered back in March and April of this year on a couple of grievances. The changes that were made to this include the first paragraph or the first section called employee solicitation, which defines employee solicitation, was split from one paragraph to three to make clear that the separate acts of employee solicitation are actually separate acts and not to be combined as one. The other change brings back or brings up from the bottom of the policy the permitted solicitation that you see in underlined green on the first page. That paragraph was on the second page further down, and we brought it up to make it clearer the grounds where solicitation can take place and who has the authority to authorize it. And we changed the authorization from the Vice President of Finance and Administration to the Vice President of Finance and Administration or the President's designee. Later on in that page, on paragraph sub-item 5, we made clear that donations by employees can also be made instead of just donations by employee organizations, but it also makes clear that those solicitations must, as all solicitations, be authorized by the Vice President of Finance and Administration or by the President's designee. The other change goes to all other references to the Vice President of Administration and Finance have been changed to the Vice President of Finance and Administration or the President's designee, including in the paragraph that talks about sanctions for violation of this policy. Those are the changes that were made to local policy. They were approved by TASB, and they're being recommended now by the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Perez. I move to approve the local policy as presented.
I second that.
I have a motion by Mr. De Leon, second by Ms. Aldrete. Any discussion? I guess if it went through committee and it went through council and then went through committee, Mr. Herrera.
Yeah.
¿Qué pasó? Okay.
Well, and the reason, to be clear, the reason we also added the vice president designee is in case, one of them is out, there's always a backup.
Someone.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
This concludes my report. Told you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yay.
We're going to go back to item 7,
Yes.
Criminal Justice Institute report. Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Trustees, before you is a report of the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement Basic Peace Officer Certification. On the first page, you can see from 2017, when we started, to our last cohort or measurement that took place 22 At the end of our last measurement, we got a total of 70%, which does not conform with the 80% passing rate of TCOs on the first attempt. Now, every student that completes our academy is given 6 months after graduation to pass the exams. They're given 3 total tries, but were measured on the first try. The last cohort that completed our academy was in June. If you look at the results with the implementation of the new standards, 13 of the 14 that tested the first time passed, giving us a 92.86% rate. The person that did not fail tested the second time and passed, so technically we have a 100% pass rate, but a 92% pass rate with the first cohort, but that was already included in the 2021-22. This current cohort, the 2022-23 that started in July, is the one we're going to be measured on, and that's what we're trying to avoid the third strike. Now, currently, we have a total of 29 cadets in the Day Academy, and these 29 cadets are under the new guidelines that we implemented on the admissions. So you've got 13 of the pre-hires who pass the civil service exams, are working with the Brownsville Police Department and Harlingen Police Department. We have 16 students that passed the TSI required exams, the reading and passing scores, as well as the essay. We have 5 cadets remaining from the night academy. Now, we had 8, but one was hired by the Border Patrol prior to the program completion. 2 withdrew for personal reasons, and we have 5 remaining. The 5 remaining cadets in the night academy are attending the TCOL exam, pre-exam, twice a week. Under the current academic standards and enrollments, they do sign the written contract that was approved, and it is in place, so we set the guidelines of what those expectations are. We have conditional placement contracts that states that the cadets will successfully pass all the TSC, CJI, pre-entry tests. They'll follow the rules and regulations. We'll follow up the outside employment standards and so forth. Now, if we take a snapshot of where we're currently at with this current cadets that started in July, the 29 cadets, well, first of all, one of the key measures is that all cadets must maintain an 85 grade average, academic grade average. So if we take the snapshot of the night academy that has the 5 cadets, their current average ranges between 90 to 95. If we take the 29 current cadets that are in the evening, on the day academy, 8 cadets are within the range of 85, 85.6, 85.8. We have 8 cadets within the range of 87 to 89, and 13 cadets are within the range of 90 to 95, all of them above the 85. Remember, our standards, it's 80. We're holding them to a higher standard. All of them are at 85. Now, the other key requirement is 4 tests under 75% will result in a dismissal. So if you score below 75 or 75, you're out. On the night academy, our current 5 cadets, none of them have graded below 75%. On the day academy, 5 cadets have received 1 exam below 75. So they're still within the margin, and they're going to the tutoring. We're doing the high touch to make them successful. So if you take a snapshot of where we're currently at, all cadets are on track to be tested. And we already have the date for them to, when they complete within the week, they should be testing. So we don't want them to wait that long to take the exam. So upon completion of their academy in December, they'll turn around and take the exam. So we had an advisory meeting this month. We'll continue to meet once a month with the advisory board, continue to provide feedback to them and receive input from them. This is my update regarding the academy.
Dr. Rodriguez, I have a couple of questions. The grade average is great, but we know that when it comes to testing, there's different variables that come into play. Are we doing anything like as far as maybe a benchmark test that they could take before the actual test?
Joe, you want to address the exam, the test material that's being used to prep them for the exam?
Yes, ma'am. Prior to the exam, our students take what looks like the very best we can give them. We don't actually have the exam, but we have what we think will be the best representation of that exam to kind of, we do everything we can in test prep to get them ready.
Okay.
So, yes, without actually having the questions, we're doing the best we can to get them ready for them.
But we don't give them like a benchmark where it's timed so they can get a feel for what's going to happen at the actual test?
We don't do that. No, what we do, however, is over the period of the semester, they're taking 44 exams. So what they do know is that they'll take 3 or 4 modules, and then what we'll do is we'll take one major exam where we know the questions, they're going to get that type of question, and so they will take a practice exam that is, they do have a set period of time to get that done. So they kind of get a feel for the exams as they go along, and then towards the end of it, they take one comprehensive overall to kind of get them ready. 44 exams, they're testing constantly, and we're doing as much as we can to keep them under that pressure and familiarize them and get them comfortable.
Once they take these 44 exams, is there time provided for feedback as to what they did do wrong?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Every test is scored. The students get back everything they did, and then the instructor goes back and reviews every question with the cadets to make sure that they understand where they missed it, why they missed it. And the thing that really thrills me about our cadets is that when they go through these classes, the key is to annotate. As they go through their books, which are that thick, it's to go back and annotate what they missed so they make that knowledge theirs.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fleshman.
That concludes my update, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Okay, item number 14, announcement of next meeting dates. Next meeting dates are regular board meeting November the 17th and December the 15th. That's it. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. De Leon, second by Ms. Sines. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. We stand adjourned.